Jim Harbaugh should be the Chargers' next head coach. He took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, put Michigan football back on the map, and his brother is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. And on top of that, he has had success everywhere that he's gone as the head coach. So today, I'm going to make the argument as to why the Chargers should and should not hire Jim Harbaugh. So make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content, man. It helps me out so much. And now let me tell you why I think he should. There are so many green flags when it comes to Jim Harbaugh. He has been around football, playing it and coaching it, and has had success and been playing at a high level his entire life. Jim Harbaugh is a former quarterback for the University of Michigan and was drafted by the Bears in the first round, man, of the 1987 draft. He's a first-round quarterback. He played a few years under Mike Ditka, the famous Hall of Fame head coach for the Bears, and then moved on to the Colts in 1995, and he won Comeback Player of the Year and went to the Pro Bowl while being named the AFC Player of the Year. He played in the NFL for 14 years and even played a year for the San Diego Chargers during that Ryan Leaf era, which I hope that we all forgot about that era. So I just want to make it very clear that Jim Harbaugh is not just a coach. He was a first-round quarterback and played for over a decade in the NFL, won high-esteemed awards in the NFL, and was actually nicknamed Captain Comeback because of his come-from-behind wins in the playoffs when he was a part of the Colts. So I want you to keep this in mind because we're going to come back to that later. He became the head coach of the University of San Diego and had 2 straight 11-1 seasons before he moved on to coach Stanford, and there was some controversy between him and Pete Carroll, who was coaching USC at the time, because he said that Pete Carroll wouldn't be their coach for too long. And then when they played that year, Stanford was 41-point underdogs and beat number 1 USC with a touchdown in the final minute, and it was the greatest upset in college football history. In his final year, Stanford went 11-1, which was the best record in Stanford history, and they ranked number 4 nationally, with Jim Harbaugh winning Coach of the Year. And then 2011 comes around, Jim Harbaugh becomes the Niners head coach. And a lot of people don't talk about how bad that Niners team actually was before he got. They did not have a winning record since 2002. His very first year, they made it to the conference championship with a 13-3 record. And throughout his entire tenure with them, the Niners had consistent success and looked like the toughest, most physical and passionate team in the NFL. A lot of people don't acknowledge how bad they were before Jim Harbaugh came around and just completely changed the culture and made history by becoming the first head coach to take their team to at least the divisional round in their first 3 seasons. And the only reason that he left San Francisco was because of the power dynamic between him and Trent Baalke, who was the Niners GM at the time, because several players were starting to get into legal trouble, and Jim Harbaugh wanted to make decisions that the front office wasn't allowing, so the relationship became strained. But the players, they all loved him. There was never a player that said anything bad about him, and it was clear that they go out and play for him, which is something that we have missed with Brandon Staley. And now throughout Harbaugh's entire career as a quarterback and a head coach, the guys on the field are playing inspired football for him. And I don't think that's a coincidence that passionate football players that work hard have consistently surrounded him his entire career. He was Captain Comeback when he was a quarterback in the NFL. Those guys wanted to play for him. They wanted to win for him when he was a quarterback on the field, just like they did at Michigan when he was a quarterback. And now, as a head coach, he's had success with guys who love him and want to play for him at the University of San Diego, at Stanford, and then now with the San Francisco 49ers at the highest level. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence at all that every single time that he's been with a part of a team, whether as a player or a coach, that team is just way more passionate and they want to play. I think Jim Harbaugh is he's a culture setter more than anything. And he mutually agreed to leave San Francisco to become the Michigan head coach. And now Michigan is one of the best teams in the country. And the year before he was there, they were 5-7. Now they're undefeated and ranked number 1 in the college football playoff. Everywhere he goes, man, he has had success. And this is the main reason why he is my top guy for the Chargers to target at head coach. There is no doubt in my mind that if the Chargers hired Jim Harbaugh, that he would instantly make the Chargers a threat in the AFC for years to come, just like we should be, man. He would change the culture. All of the green flags are here, and it seems like every media outlet is saying the same thing as well. The Chargers need Jim Harbaugh. It just feels like destiny, man, and I really hope that this happens, because I think this is the best hire possible. Now, the reasons that you might want to stay away from Jim Harbaugh and why this might not happen is because of the controversies. He had that Pete Carroll controversy at Stanford that we talked about, and the ownership controversy with the 49ers. And now at Michigan, there's this whole sign stealing drama that he may or may not have been a part of. Look, man, I'm going to be giving him the benefit of the doubt with all of this drama surrounding him, because if he was actually a bad guy who is controversial, then the players wouldn't play so hard for him. They wouldn't love him as much as they do. I mean, I have seen guys cry after winning because they love this guy so much. I mean, just right off the top of my head, I remember Vernon Davis catching a game-winning touchdown in the playoffs for the 49ers, and he cried on the field hugging Jim Harbaugh, the head coach. And then I remember the first game that he was suspended at Michigan, one of the Michigan running back, I think it was a running back, Blake Corum, he was crying on the field after the game, and he said, "This one was for you, coach, Jim Harbaugh." You don't see that if it was an actual controversial coach, like somebody like Urban Meyer. You don't see players crying after a win and hugging Urban Meyer because they love him. And another reason too why this might not happen is because of the Spani. Man, I know, I keep saying it, John Spanos and Dean Spanos, the ownership, and I think John Spanos is like president of football operations or whatever. He has total say over the football side of things. Just know that if the Spani do not give complete and total control away to Jim Harbaugh, he's not going to sign with us. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Jim Harbaugh has like $11 million at Michigan right now per year, and the Chargers would also need to pay more money than what he's getting at Michigan in order to actually even have an opportunity to sign him and give him total control. So that is two things that the Spani have historically not done for this Chargers organization, is pay head coaches and general managers like a large sum of money like this, and then also give them complete control and allow them to just take their vision of what the Chargers should be and put it into place. If they can do those two things, which I really, I think we all want them to do, then Jim Harbaugh would be the best candidate for sure for the Chargers. Like I said, man, there's been so much media coming out about Jim Harbaugh wanting to come back to the NFL, and the Chargers showing interest in Jim Harbaugh, and then they're showing interest in Bill Belichick the next day, and then Jim Harbaugh showing interest in becoming the Chargers head coach. Now he's showing interest in the Raiders. The Bears are definitely not going to be interested. It's just something different every day. But we can all hope as Chargers fans that we get Jim Harbaugh, and then hopefully one of these general managers that I talked about in my video yesterday, and even the day before yesterday, I actually had 3 other ones. You should check out these 2 videos right here.